The FDA is talking boosters today, specifically Pfizer's booster, to come 6 months after the second dose. The two key questions: is immunity waning, and will boosters restore it? This comes as the CDC says teens in the U.S. gained weight during the pandemic. A new study saying their body mass index nearly doubled. Over 12,000 illegal immigrants amassing under an international bridge in Texas, waiting to be processed by Border Patrol. This comes as the U.S. Federal Aviation Administration has imposed a no-fly zone for unmanned aircraft systems flying over the South Texas bridge. That's after photos emerged showing thousands of illegal immigrants accumulating under it in recent days. And it's Constitution Day. 234 years ago, on September 17, 1787, 39 delegates signed the U.S. Constitution, and the famous phrase, "We the people," was born. Tune into Deep Dive as we explore these topics and more. Hello and welcome. This is Deep Dive and I'm Tiffany Meier. Let's begin with a question of booster shots. The FDA is talking boosters today, specifically Pfizer's booster, to come 6 months after the second dose. There are two key questions: is immunity waning, and will boosters restore it? A lot of the data U.S. health experts are looking to is from Israel, which started giving boosters July 29th. On the issue of waning immunity, their data shows that more time passed since initial vaccination, the more likely people were to get breakthrough infections. On boosters' effectiveness, again, many from Israel show a third dose makes breakthrough infections less likely by turbocharging the production of antibodies. But a briefing document ahead of the meeting makes it clear the FDA wants U.S. data. The World Health Organization has been arguing against the use of boosters in wealthier countries until most of the world is vaccinated. After hours of deliberating, the panel voted against offering boosters to most Americans.
I don't think a booster dose is going to significantly contribute to controlling the pandemic. And I think it's very important that the main message that we still transmit is that we've got to get everybody 2 doses. Everyone has to get the primary series. This booster dose is not going to make a big difference. It's not likely to make a big difference in the behavior of this pandemic.
But the FDA does recommend booster shots for those 65 and older and those at high risk. Meanwhile, what about testing for the virus? There's a new pilot program launched at Miami International Airport. The airport, the first to use COVID-sniffing dogs to help detect the virus. This is a program being tested on airplane employees to start. If the dog detects the virus in an employee, they will be asked to take a rapid COVID test.
Cobra and another dog, one betta, had been trained for agricultural detection. So we found that they could be very reliable in detecting something called laurel wilt, which is killing avocado trees here in South Florida. And so we knew they were reliable for that. We said, well, let's try to train them on COVID-19. She was already trained for another odor. It only takes a few weeks to really get them proficient to a new odor. They really start picking up the new odor in a few days. If it's a brand new dog that's never been trained, then it may take up to a few months to get them proficient.
And what about the effects of the pandemic on health? A new CDC study indicates that young people appear to have gained a good bit of weight during the coronavirus pandemic. According to the study, the rate of body mass index increase in children ages 2 to 19 nearly doubled. The study found about 22% of children and teens were obese in August of 2020. That's up from 19% a year prior. CDC researchers collected BMI data on over 400,000 children ages 2 to 19 with measurements taken before and during the COVID-19 pandemic. The study was published Thursday in the CDC's Morbidity and Mortality Report. The CDC said obesity prevention and management efforts during and following the COVID-19 pandemic could include healthcare provider screening for BMI, food security, and social determinants of health, and increased access to evidence-based pediatric weight management programs and food assistance resources. The CDC went on to say accelerated weight gain, especially among children with overweight or obesity, can cause long-lasting metabolic changes that put children at risk for serious and costly co-occurring conditions such as type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and depression. It is already known that the pandemic led to school closures and fewer opportunities for physical activity and proper nutrition, leading to weight gain in kids and teens. And now, as to ways to combat that, scientists say walking 7,000 steps every day could reduce your risk of an early death. The new peer-reviewed study was published in JAMA Network Open earlier this month. Researchers tracked about 2,100 people between the ages of 38 and 50 for an average of nearly 11 years. They found that people who walked at least 7,000 steps a day had a 50 to 70% lower risk of premature all-cause mortality. The U.S. Department of Health and Human Services does not recommend a specific number of steps per day. They just suggest adults move more and sit less. Now, let's turn to the southern border. Thousands of illegal immigrants, mostly from Haiti, are gathering under the Del Rio International Bridge in Texas. They are waiting to turn themselves into Border Patrol to be processed. A Border Patrol source told the Epoch Times that as of early Friday morning, over 12,000 illegal immigrants are congregated here. Among them, Haitian, Cuban, and Venezuelan nationals. U.S. officials have set up drinking water, towels, and portable toilets under the bridge due to the massive influx of border crossers. This has drawn many to gather here. Speaking with KSAT TV, Bruno Lozano, the Democrat mayor of the city, called the situation beyond a crisis. In a video posted by a local radio station Wednesday, Lozano said he's been trying for the last 48 hours to get in touch with the Department of Homeland Security. He's calling for backup to help Del Rio Border Patrol, who are reported to be overwhelmed. Lozano said Del Rio already has 2,000 to 3,000 illegal immigrants in detention and said he's been provided information that another 20,000 migrants are on their way to the area from Mexico.
So what is the Border Patrol, the Del Rio sector, supposed to do with an influx of not just 4,000, but potentially 20,000 migrants that are coming into the Del Rio sector? Administration, I did give you the stark warning back in February that something like this could happen in the Del Rio area. It's happening right now in real time, and the Department of Homeland Security needs to move a lot quicker and respond a lot faster to this dire situation here underneath the Del Rio International Bridge.
The Biden administration is also facing criticism for allowing tens of thousands of migrants to enter the U.S. without being tested or vaccinated against the CCP virus, while simultaneously imposing vaccine mandates on Americans to stop the spread. According to new data from Customs and Border Protection, arrests at the border topped 200,000 for the second consecutive month and are still on track to set a new yearly record. In August, border agents apprehended just over 208,000 people, including nearly 19,000 unaccompanied children. Among them were these two, a 2-year-old girl and a 3-month-old boy, who were found abandoned along the Rio Grande River on Tuesday. CBP said a note was left with them, identifying the pair as siblings from Honduras. Numerous border experts and elected officials are calling on the Biden administration to take immediate action to secure the southern border. This comes as the Federal Aviation Administration has imposed a no-fly zone for unmanned aircraft systems flying over a South Texas bridge. That's after photos emerged showing thousands of illegal immigrants accumulating under it in recent days. As per the notice, the Department of Defense, Homeland Security, and the Department of Justice may take action against anyone who does not comply with a temporary ban. That includes destruction of unmanned aircraft if it is deemed to pose a credible safety or security threat. The ban prevents local and international media from capturing aerial footage and imagery showing conditions at the site. But those with official airspace waivers, as well as law enforcement and those flying over the area on disaster support missions, are exempt. And Texas Governor Greg Abbott on Thursday directed the Texas Department of Public Safety and the Texas National Guard to maintain their presence at and around ports of entry to deter crossings. Now, let's take a moment to look at an interesting approach to protecting trees from a wildfire in California. Take a look. The base of the world's biggest tree, General Sherman, is now wrapped in foil as the K&P complex. Fire burns in Sequoia National Park. Officials say these trees are adaptive to fire, but the one burning now is very intense, so the foil adds a layer of protection. The area where the complex fire is burning now is difficult for firefighters to get to. Multiple communities in Tulare County, including Mineral Kings and Three Rivers, have been forced to evacuate. And now, before we end, it's Constitution Day. 234 years ago, on September 17, 1787, 39 of the 55 delegates attending the Constitutional Convention signed the U.S. Constitution, and the famous phrase, "We the people," was born. It reads, "We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America." Let's take a moment to look at the first 10 amendments: freedom of religion, speech, press, assembly, and petition. The right to keep and bear arms in order to maintain a well-regulated militia. No quartering of soldiers. Freedom from unreasonable searches and seizures. The right to due process of law. Freedom from self-incrimination, double jeopardy, rights of accused persons, e.g. the right to a speedy and public trial. The right of trial by jury in civil cases. Freedom from excessive bail, cruel and unusual punishments. Other rights of the people. The powers reserved to the states. And Congressman Mike Simpson in Idaho tweeted out, "The strength of the Constitution lies entirely in the determination of each citizen to defend it. Happy Constitution Day." But what do you think? Let me know below. Thanks for tuning in to Deep Dive. I'm Tiffany Meier, and have a wonderful weekend.